Hi everybody. Welcome back to the channel. And yeah, it's like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And I saw the last episode of that show I was watching, Sex Life or something on Netflix. And watching it was like God was talking to me in the back of my mind, and I was doing a reading in the back of my mind while I was watching the show. And the show finished, like, I watched the entire season in the recent few days. And it's actually a good show, for what it's worth. And, yeah, I've been hearing the word, it's like a collective of lions has been constantly all over my social media, all over anywhere I look, symbolisms of lions. And I've seen the word eternal quite a few times today. And, what else? Geminis have popped up a ton. And butterflies. So I'm not really sure what's going on, but the previous reading I did was for Pisces. So I'm thinking this one's going to be for the opposite spectrum of it, which would be Virgo. But I keep hearing, like, even looking at this right here, I just saw it as a lion's paw. So maybe Leos need a reading. I don't know what's going on, but the recent few days I've been really asked to be far more Leo-like. I don't know. I guess I've been too Piscean and way too much in my emotions and shit. So this reading is going to be for an odd group of you. Leos, Geminis, and Virgos. And I just heard Cancerian. But it might be somebody who's a Gemini Cancer cusper or a Cancer Leo cusper. Or maybe in your Vedic chart, you're Leo. By the way, when I talk about astrology in that way, like the stars and the planets and where they are, I don't go by tropical. I'm always referring to Vedic, and I'm going to make more videos explaining all that stuff later on. I don't know much about it, but there is another channel who's fucking amazing that you can go to. Her name is Vedic Life Coach. She's great. She's absolutely one of the most kind and compassionate energies I've felt on the internet. And she knows what she's talking about, and she really does her job well. So I don't really give shout outs to many people on this channel because I've been treated terribly every time I have. But this woman is godsend. So Virgo, Leo, Gemini, Cancer. This reading is for you guys. Space has been cleared. Intentions have been set for kindness, benevolence, and compassion and clarity. And this is for you, the viewer, and not the cross-watchers. And it's not going to be a reading where if you have ill intentions, that this would help you in any way. If you have ill intentions towards anybody in your life right now, this reading will mean nothing to you. Okay? Confirmation from Spirit. So, if you intend to do harm with this information will be taken from you by Spirit. So, recenter yourself, establish why you're watching this reading, and what you need advice on. So if there's a relationship issue, bring that up to the surface. Really get into that mindset that you are looking for answers, that you already have the answers. If this is a health issue, then shoo, little fly. This may be something that has to do with your reading. There was a fly, an observer here, a fruit fly. I was picking mulberries earlier, and I guess I brought in some fruit flies from the bush. So, fruit flies in the bush. Is somebody Australian here? I just lost my train of thought. So we're just going to start. That was odd. Oh, the fruit fly. Wow, that's sneaky. Fruit fly, somebody's spying on you. Somebody is literally a fly on the wall spying on you, and every time you notice them, they take off. Like when you notice their energy. Protect yourself energetically. You're not in danger, but you should have healthier boundaries than you do. And how do you set healthy boundaries? Maybe you need to learn this too, because I've needed to learn this. If there's something you can't tolerate that you wouldn't do to somebody else, don't let people do it to you. If it's something you wouldn't look at God with respect, if God did it, then why would you do it and expect respect in return, right? If, like this TV show I was watching, these people were making such horrible decisions on that TV show. Horrible. Like following their heart and their loins and their minds all at the same time, but in different directions. Terrible decisions, and it made me feel so grateful to be single. So maybe you're like, there's a third party maybe in your life that you're interested in, and you're bored of like your current relationship and you're trying to figure out what to do. If that's the case, you know, don't drag the person you're with along with you, and don't think that the grass is greener on the other side, because it's not going to be. If like, okay, for example, I bought those things right there. They were curtains that were made out of these. That's what's left of them. So I decided to like sprinkle them like little gold drops over there. But initially they were beautiful and like draped down, and when the wind would blow, this entire apartment would shimmer like it was the inside of a golden dome. It was beautiful. But after about 3 days, they fell apart. They started peeling off. They started falling off. Lily was tearing them off, and the puppy, when I had it, she was like bouncing up and down through them. The beauty and luster fades. What's left is what you can do with the rest. So what am I doing with the wreckage? I'm going to take these and probably wrap them around this so that the cards stay in there better. Because it's right in front of my face, the solution. So take a deep breath and just tune for a minute. I can feel your mind racing, because my mind isn't racing, but it feels like I'm stuck in a racing track where the signal to move forward isn't there yet. And Lily is losing her mind right now, like bolting back and forth. So calm thyself, star being. Okay. There you are. Let's start. What do the Virgos, Leos, Cancers, and Geminis need to know? Well, that just flipped out right upside down. Yeah, someone's watching you. Page of Swords in reverse. Let's see if I can angle this like this. Okay. The Hierophant and the Page of Swords in reverse. There's someone that has established a position that seems to be of respect, that is utilizing that position to do things that aren't very respectful. Lily? Enough. No more splinters out of your paws. No. Like that. There's a cat who keeps harming herself, and I have to fix the mess. There's someone who keeps abusing their power, and you've had to clean the mess. Or you're abusing your power, and someone else is watching it, and they're going to have to clean up the mess because you're not sure what you're doing. Or, and for some other of you, there's something you know that you need to be doing for yourself within the energies you inhabit, that inhabit your body, your masculine, your feminine, your lust, your mind, your devotion to your deity, and to yourself. the Holy Trinity within you. Male, female, God, Father, Mother, Son, light, dark, neutral. And it's being abused. The transformation hasn't been occurring because there has been an abuse of power. There's something I'm not seeing here. And it feels like it's being purposefully hid from me. So we're going to move forward and see what else Spirit has to tell you. Six of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, the Devil, Seven of Swords, the Hanged Man, bottom of the deck, Page of Pentacles, and the overall advice regarding this, the Queen of Wands. Okay. Page of Pentacles on the bottom yet again. Let's use Moonology. What else needs to be known about this Hierophant? You're very close to achieving your goal. A new start is coming. Actually, this might be better. Hold on. So, the Hierophant, and a new start is coming, etc., etc. This person, place, or thing could be a like social worker, building manager, something of that sort. A new start is coming. You're very close to achieving your goal. An eclipse and a full moon. So somewhere in between. Look at that green light. There's a choice that you're going to be making soon that will split your reality in two. It'll split you in two. And it's a choice you need to make because your life hasn't been moving forward and the energy is gaining momentum. What needs to be known regarding the Six of Swords that is being left behind or moved away from? A personal issue reaches resolution. Full moon in Cancer. This is a gibbous moon and new moon. Oh, it's a new moon. I thought that was an eclipse. What needs to be known about the Devil? What role is the Devil playing in the situation? A fiery climax approaches. Lily! Stop! A fiery climax approaches. Full moon in Aries. So there's somebody in your life that is perpetually causing themselves harm, and you're having to witness it, and you don't want to witness it, and you want to help, but in order for you to help, you have to do it in a way that they will accept the help, which means they need to be able to help themselves or want to help themselves, and if they don't, then it'll just look like you're trying to control the situation and that you're doing some kind of damage. I guess you don't need to see all the cards right now. I mean, you watch card readings with people who don't even show you a single card. So, a win-win outcome is forecast. Fell right here. So, a win-win outcome is forecast if you handle things with the Queen of Wands energy and looking at things differently. Show the world the real you. Full moon in Aquarius. Tell us more about this Devil energy. What is it that has been keeping the viewers? Again, the Initiative of Swords. Okay, Spirit, is this someone with ill intent messing with my tribe? Or is this our tribe doing this to themselves? Which one is it? It's Spirit doing it to you. It's God. God's got you in the situation because God wants you to see. Spirit, your higher self, wants you to see that the pain you're experiencing in this life, the restrictions, the bondage, the trauma, the cheating, and all the other crap, has nothing to do with this life. It has to do with other things, parallel realities, different dimensions, different timelines, different universes that you lived and experienced, and you're making peace with it in this world. But you seem to think that you're being betrayed in this world. You see those butterflies? They're pink over there, but they're blue over here. Here there's male and female. And here the advice is the Queen of Wands. So somebody here feels like people can't be trusted, like humans in general can't be trusted. And let me tell you, I can relate to that. But there are good people out there. So lay down the burden of not being able to trust anybody and trust somebody like yourself to know that, look, the Seven of Swords here. You don't need to protect yourself against every person that comes into your life. Sometimes those people come into your life to remind you of the life you had before, so you can make a choice to move forward with the life you had before or to move forward with the life you have now. The Knight of Pentacles with the Devil and the Six of Swords right here with the Page of Swords in reverse. A family tradition that has betrayed you in some way and kept you in a state of, Lily, I swear to God, if you make me say this one more time over the same thing. This is the energy that I'm feeling. You're trying to do something and something's constantly causing harm to itself, preventing you from doing what you need to be doing to better your life, to take the opportunities brought to you and make something out of them. But then something in your life happens where you have to take care of a child or a person with a childlike mentality where they keep doing things that could potentially harm themselves. Look at how he's holding that sword. He could just fall right into it. And this bitch over here doesn't care. There's like blood on those swords. There's stuff over there. She's just carrying them right by the blades. She's like, I don't care. I do what I want. And then she gets herself hung upside down to see what she did wrong. And the issue being denial of the self. The power, the truth, the beauty, the creativity, the attraction, the passion, the sensuality within you. It's like you left all that behind to go towards these, look, the pink butterflies again. Towards these pink butterflies, right? Towards a new beginning. And you go towards it, and then the opportunity turns into an opportunity to remain in bondage. It was like a trap. And then you're like, oh no, I got betrayed, I got cheated on, blah, blah, blah. But you didn't. You got to see things differently. What happened was a reminder to remind you of a wound you had that you stopped looking at. Once you establish that wound and heal it, all those powers of those witches that were burned and hanged that resides within you, like the seeds of the goddess, bloom. But if you continue to hide what you are, who you are, and the things you desire, the things you crave, the things you want, look, they're cutting each other free. See that? And he's not stopping them, the devil. It's almost as if he came there to help them break themselves free by showing them the bondage they were in. Is this who you are? Or is this who you are? There can't be an in-between with these two. They are fragments of a personality, of a mind, of consciousness. They both cannot exist at the same time, because if they do, then you become a treacherous cunt. If you realize you have these abilities within you, and you utilize them with intelligence, then you become a powerhouse and you become that bitch. But if you're manipulative, conniving, cheating, and etc., and then you're like, oh, and I'm gorgeous, and I'm rich, then baby, you're a narcissist. Because this Queen of Wands can be a beautiful, creative mother, aunt, sister, boss, whatever. Or she can be a fucking cheater, a home wrecker, manipulator, somebody who gets pregnant and creates children and then discards them, someone who burns down foundations, someone who exposes themselves just to gain power. Which one is you? You can harness those blades to cut, or you can harness those blades to lead. But you cannot think that you are designed to lead anyone, because then you become this. People don't need a leader. People need to be reminded of who they are so they can lead themselves. Boom, firecracker. So the opportunity being presented to you is one that could either have you flip upside down on your head and leave everything you knew behind and claim the world and personality that would result in eventually this. Or you can see that everything happened to you for a reason that was meant to bring you into this. Your power. The resolution is at hand, a fiery climax approaches, etc., etc. But what really, really irks me in this reading are these two. Now, let me give you a little bit of sisterly, brotherly advice. If anyone in your life is abusing their power and claiming that their connection to God is better, or that they know something about someone that you don't, or that their insights and traditions and structures and rules are meant to be followed, he may as well be that. A true healer, a true hierophant, a true being close to God would never have the Page of Swords in reverse next to it. This is a sign from the universe, the mother, father of creation itself, to you, telling you there's someone you go to and bow before, someone you sit before, someone. I can give you features physically, but it won't make a difference because people look similar sometimes. But you know who this is. There is someone who is putting on a mask to pretend that they are connected to God, that they know better, that their rules and their traditions and their etc. are better, but they're not, because what they're doing is out of fear of something being taken away. So they manipulate, they control, they utilize the light to bind and blind, which makes them no better than this. Except in this situation, the devil is actually the one freeing the captives, and the Hierophant is the one keeping them captive, bowing before him, while the devil has them breaking the chains before him. You see how it's like ass backwards? Somebody's manipulated you into thinking that they're something that you know they're not. I don't know what you guys got yourselves into. Let's do a quick pull from another deck. What else do the viewers need to know regarding the situation? What's the advice here? Because if they're stuck in a situation like that, then they do need to break free. Lease of the Shadows. 4 + 4 is 8. There is an enemy within you or within your environment that has deemed themselves your enemy, whether you even know they exist or not. Your advice is, do not engage in the darkness thinking that your light can overcome the entirety of the darkness within another. It is not your job to bring them to the light. It is your job to remind them that there is light by being the light yourself and moving forward out of the dark, to show them that there is more than just this planet, that there is more than just the shadows. They don't know any better. 4 + 4 is 8. If you do not break free of this mindset and mentality and energy, you will continue the cycle of the dark. And yes, the dark has a purpose, but also a time and a place. The Singer of Courage. Another 8. It will take courage to move through this darkness. But if you don't have courage to move through the darkness, what are you doing on Earth? The Green Woman, the singer of the chalice. 5 and 3. 2 people coming together to work to change something, to bring unity into the heart of one so they can merge with another and work together to create something better. Your true self, your childishness, your mischief has been subdued by a feminine energy in your life that doesn't truly care about where you go in life. She just wants to keep you contained, controlled, trained, established, conformed in a routine, while she goes off and wanders the world, travels, does whatever the fuck she wants, and barely even talks to you other than to give you treats, give you a little pat on the head and say, look at you doing so good. Okay, bye. Her job isn't to love you the way you need to be loved. His or her job, and I'm saying her because it says green woman, so I'm going to say her. Her job is to show you what love is like. And if you think that love is remaining within the shadows, then you will need even more courage to realize that which you have hidden within yourself, which knows what true love is for yourself. You've been thinking that, this could be somebody's mother whispering into their ear, telling them what decisions to make. But really, you know better. You want to break free of this woman containing you within the dark. But it needs courage, which this woman isn't and hasn't let you gain, because she has continuously filled your cup with that which she thinks you need. It's kind of like having Lily and me just feeding her treats and never giving her dinner. Or me just giving her dinner and never giving her treats. Or me just giving her dinner once a day and then leaving kibble for the rest of the day and never giving her treats and never playing with her. The bare minimum. You got used to it. So it takes courage to realize, 1, this person manipulated you and kept you in the dark. 2, other people tried to get you out of the dark and you saw them as enemies, keeping you somewhere else. 3, this woman never really intended to do what she did to you, but what happened to you resulted in her feeling a sense of control and power. So in order for you to break free of this, you need to have enough courage within yourself to realize you deserve better, which means you learn self-love. Again, that cliche quote just popped into my mind. How can you love someone else when you don't know how to love yourself? How can you fill another cup when your cup is empty? Things are about to go in a really different direction for you. The chapter of your life where you've been in is closing, and you are not allowed to continue to read it anymore. So, that's what this is. Okay, something in your... I'm surprised the Tower card didn't come out. Let me see here. Alright, God, what else you got for them? Knight of Swords. 2 of Wands. You must get out of your comfort zone and follow the messages brought to you by Spirit. There are 2 paths ahead of you. One that you must leave behind, one that you must run towards. In order to run towards that, you need courage, which needs you to get out of your comfort zone and to have a vision, which means your root chakra needs to be addressed, because there's something financial, insecurity-wise, that's keeping you stuck in a situation with someone that isn't fulfilling you. It is keeping you stuck. Now, Talon the Sylph shows up here to say, you need to move, you need to run, you need to chase your dreams, you need to run for that motorcycle, even with or without shoes on. Follow the signs from Spirit, and Spirit will lead you towards the courage you need to break out of your comfort zone and move towards what you want, with grace and dignity and in unity with nature and those that come before you and after you. This does not have to be a conflict, as you can see. This is a change in direction, and it's going to require courage. It's going to require being a new person. It's going to require seeing how you've been limited, and it's going to require seeing how not full your cup actually is. which then brings you to this. Which way do I go now? And then this comes out saying, go where spirit guides you. Go towards the light, even if the light is being brought to you by through the dark. Five of Wands, King of Swords. There are multiple people that are containing you and assisting you. And look, once you make this decision to follow Spirit, to move towards the direction that Spirit is pointing at, you will face conflict. But that conflict is only conflict if your mind is allowed to think of it as conflict. If you look at it as 4 or 5 other people helping you build a bridge to get to the place where you can light the fire within you, then you yourself realize you were never this. You were never that. And you were never stuck. You were simply being reminded of who you are. And notice the beading on his shirt, the threading. XVI 16. Temperance. I think. Is 16 temperance, or is it the devil, or is the devil 15? No, temperance is 14. 10, 21, 10. Ooh, you got a bright future, buddy. 13, 5, 3. Okay. Tower is 16. Okay. So the destruction that you would experience within your life that would change your life drastically is actually divinely ordained and unavoidable. So the advice to you here isn't regarding which path to go to avoid the disaster. Spirit's guiding you to the disaster, because that's what you need to break free, so you can have the ending, the closure, the moving forward, so that from that you can go into the choice that actually fulfills you. Could be with someone who, I just saw this as an Amazon, not even like somebody with a bow. I don't see this as a Sagittarius. If anything, it's like maybe a Capricorn. I don't know, I'm getting a very powerful, dominant vibe from this side, and a very sensual, passionate, caring, caressing energy from this, which probably is a Cancerian. Actually, no. I've known a lot of Cancerians, and no offense to you guys if you're Cancerian, which some of you are, but you guys know. I mean, in tropical, my moon sign is Cancer. And I know damn well that I could have manipulative tendencies glorified within me if I really wanted to. But I don't. There's no point to manipulate another human being, because it'll just come back to me. And I don't feel like being manipulated. These two aren't manipulating each other, and there's no choice to be made. The choice has already been made. Problem is, you haven't seen that choice be made because you've been stuck in the dark. So the universe is coming to you saying the past is over, the present is done, move into the fucking future. The Magician, you've manifested this for yourself, but you've kept yourself away from it because you've been afraid of it. And Spirit's telling you all is well. Everything's going to work out better than you can expect, regardless of how worried you are. Stop letting other people tell you what the fuck to do, man. What the hell? Don't even let me tell you what to do. You know what to do. You look at, when you're looking at these videos, look at them as confirmation, not for direction of what you should do. Tarot and tarot readers and oracles and stuff, we're not designed to live your life for you. We're designed to look at your life from outside of your life, to tell you exactly what your options are and which paths would be great, and to tell you messages you refuse to listen to from source. And the messages here have been, you've been obviously doing something you know you shouldn't be doing. You've been involved with people you shouldn't be involved with. You've been involved with substances you shouldn't be involved with. You've been involved with mental patterns you shouldn't be involved with. And in order to break free, you're going to have to admit to yourself that you allowed yourself to become the person that you don't want to be, which has caused you to experience life in a way that has brought people around you that you didn't want around you. Relationships around you that you thought were monogamous but weren't. People around you that you thought were kind but weren't. Now that you see things in a different way, it might feel like you're betraying people by choosing yourself. But really what you're doing is taking that pain and treachery and betraying yourself, the current and past self you are and were, because that's not the real you anymore, is it? So the Seven of Swords could be about self-betrayal in regards to the self that you were not, which means that you're betraying the false self and standing up for the authentic self. Sometimes we have to utilize a little bit of poison to heal the wound. Sometimes we have to use a little fire to cook to cook food. Sometimes things must be taken for us to realize how empty we are. Sometimes when we know how empty we are, we can see the things around us to see how actually not empty we are, and we've just been in the wrong place. Because if that cup was just slightly over to the left, to the right, or any other direction, it would have something in it. But it does not. Any closing advice? Look at things differently. Okay, so let's look at things differently. This one? Don't worry, the deck is in reverse. There we go. Okay, so we have the crane and the raven. I'm going to give you a second to look at this and see the message for you. What does this say to you? A tree with barely any leaves, a hill with barely any grass, a raven with barely any food, clutching to the roots of something, and a crane, symbol of a goddess, 1 foot in the water, 1 foot out, with full moon above it, full blooms, place to hide and be safe, place to drink water, food to eat. Crane has all it needs, and this raven doesn't like it. It has its eye on what the crane wants and has, and it's clutching that root like it's clutching the neck of that crane. You see that? That is not a bird that is sitting there peacefully. That is a bird that is manipulative and conniving, and it's seeking something the other one has, and the other one is oblivious to it. It's just there, like a little princess bathing in the pond. And this bitch is like, I want what she has, because what I have ain't good enough, so I'm going to go take what that bitch has. Well, you know, when you try to do that, you know what happens? God comes in and says, so little bird, you want to take what that one has, right? And this bird's like, yeah, I do. I want more. And God's like, you can't have more of what that bird has. You have more of what you have. Why do you want what this one has? And this raven's like, because my stuff sucks. And this stuff doesn't suck. So what does God say? How can you think what I gave you isn't good enough for you to go and take it from someone else? Who's going to give to them if you take from them? You will, of course, God. I already did. Who gave you the right to take it from them? You did? The fuck I did. And then there's this bunny over here going, what the fuck are these guys doing over here? Oh man, you guys. Okay, one last card, and I keep wanting to pick up a card from here. I don't even know which deck this is. What is this? I think this is called the Prisma Tarot. I got it from that book press store on Etsy. Any closing advice for the viewers, please? The Five of Swords and the Three of Wands. You know what I like about this Five of Swords? There's actually nobody fighting. Look. There's no one fighting. Except that one. That one's minding his own business. That one and this one, they look like they're fighting, but they're really not. I mean, one sword is on the floor, the other sword's on the floor. This one's just chilling out in the snow. These two are like sparring, and this one's trying to cut the other one's leg, right? Why would you go for the leg of someone else? Because you don't want them to move forward. Why don't you want them to move forward? Because the next step they take is everything they could ever want given to them freely for all the work they did. So what does this one do? No, you can't have it. Can't have it. Look, and he's wearing that raven mask. You see that? Whoever it is in your life that has been causing a lot of issues with you has a very high affinity with ravens or crows or blackbirds in general. There have been too many in this reading for me to overlook that. So be careful, because there's somebody amongst you, probably someone you're watching online, because there's a lot of space, dark space here, like the dark web or the internet. You know, the net of connection, the net of stars. And it's cold, which means there's no human emotion, which means it's a machine. But it functions, which means it's AI or an internet of some kind. The Three of Wands is usually about waiting for your manifestations to come in, but hers are already there, except for that dying flower. The rest of them are all going up, but that one in her hand is dead. Probably because this one trampled over it. So, your advice. Oh, looky, looky at that swan, and looky, looky at the one that didn't want the conflict and looked away and walked away. While these two are fighting over there, this one went off to do the right thing and face its fears. Your advice here is disengage from the conflict, connect with nature, and let nature, God, and your higher self fight your battles for you. They hear things that you don't. They know things that you don't. And nature itself can send a wasp to someone, or a sinkhole, or a fucking tornado, or whatever to pay back karma. You don't have to lift a finger. Let nature do it. Just like nature is giving to you. Let nature protect you. There's something you're not seeing off in the distance. And the thing you're not seeing seems as ephemeral, as ethereal, as ephemeral, whatever that word is. Like wisp, like a breath of warm air, like a breath of warm exhale in the cold winter. Just seems like it's fading, right? Let it. Because there's something so beautiful there for you that you haven't been looking at. This could also be something in your past that you manifested that you've been waiting for, and it's here for you, and your test for yourself to see if you deem yourself worthy to have it is to face the treachery that you've been through or that you caused. Remember, duality. Okay, my lovelies, my little star babies. And to those of you who nitpick every fucking word that comes out of my mouth in these readings, rest assured, and 100% of it is channeled, and the person that was born, raised as a human being on this planet is nowhere near these videos when the record button is pushed. you are directly speaking to spirit, and I see what you do in the dark.